After nearly 4 months of building out this box truck in the mountains of northern Arizona, I'm finally getting it ready for its maiden voyage. In just a couple weeks' time, I'm going to be packing everything up and driving this box truck from northern Arizona all the way over to the sunny beaches of San Diego. So in this video, I have a couple little projects that I'm finishing up, and I'm just going to kind of roll through them all and make a little montage and show you guys the last little bit of work I have to do before I can hit the road and head west. So this is what the box truck currently looks like. The first thing I'll show you guys is the desk. I know it's looking a little crazy. There's a huge cutout in it. And so what I ended up doing is I decided I wanted a desk that I could pull up into and kind of have it wrap around me. And I also wanted to be able to pull my chair in so that it was even with the desk and you don't have to walk over it. So I traced out a little template with some blue tape, cut it with my jigsaw, and I know a lot of you folks are probably wondering why I didn't make a nice big curved section to pull up into, but everything in this box truck is square corners. And so I didn't want the desk to be rounded with everything else being square. So I went ahead and stuck with the square theme. And keep in mind, when this desk is all done, it's going to be epoxied, and the epoxy is going to flow over the edge. And I think it's actually going to look really, really good when it's all said and done. Just wait for it. I think you guys are going to like it. But in the meantime, it tucks in cozy, and I got a nice little armrest where I can type on my laptop and support my elbows. And then when everything pushes in, the chair comes flush with the edge of the counter. I'm pretty happy with it. The next project I'm going to cover is the bed, the Murphy bed. Now, I didn't make a full build video for this because I really didn't build the bed. I just assembled it. So I bought this Murphy bed on Amazon. It's a normal residential full-size Murphy bed. And I went ahead and did that just because there's a lot of precision involved in all these different cuts. And I just thought it'd be easier to just order one on Amazon already ready to go and then put it into place. The only challenge was assembling it in such a small space. I had to actually drill some holes through my countertop to get it in, but it all worked out pretty well. Nomad Dad helped me out with this, and I'm really happy with it. The thing I love the most is how quickly the bed closes up and then redeploys. It's just really simple and easy to use, and I'm a big fan of it. The next project we'll cover is the sink. So I put the sink in on a video a couple weeks ago. We did the whole kitchen in the Lowe's parking lot, but now I had to add the faucet, and so I went ahead and just used a hole saw. I think a 2-inch hole saw, drilled right through the countertop, and then just dropped the sink right down. Pretty simple install. It's not hooked up yet. I still need to attach my fresh water tank and install the water pump, but I'll be doing that next week. But in the meantime, I got the faucet installed, and I really like it. So the thing is, I wanted kind of a compact faucet. A lot of the big faucets you see at Home Depot and Lowe's, they're really tall and swoopy. And my plan is to put a illuminated mirror behind this faucet. And so I didn't want to have a super tall faucet that was going to be in the way of the mirror. So that's why I kind of went with a short faucet. But it still has a nice height to it, so you can still fit a large pot or pan down in the sink basin and rinse it all out. And then, of course, I went with the faucet that has the built-in sprayer head. And all in all, super happy with this design. And this faucet was only 60 bucks on Amazon, which is quite a bit cheaper than anything comparable you can get at a local hardware store. It seems like when you're building a box truck, everything requires customization. The one problem I have with the sink itself is it came with this cool cutting board, but the challenge is you have to completely pull out the cutting board to use the sink. And so I figured I'll go ahead and cut the cutting board in half, and then that way it'll allow me to just kind of permanently leave the cutting board on the sink and then leave the other side open so I can still easily swivel over the faucet, rinse out a dish, do whatever I need to do in the sink without having to constantly pull the cutting board. And now I have two cutting boards. I got a backup cutting board. And then additionally, the sink came with this little drying rack. So I can just go ahead and, if I want to wash dishes and then let them dry on the rack, I can do that with my half cutting board. And I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I think it looks good. Then we'll move on to the floor. So I just use birch plywood for the floor. A lot of people were questioning me on it. I think it looks cool. Keep in mind, there's going to be, most of the stuff in here is going to be painted white, so there's not going to be a ton of birch. And so I thought just having some nice light birch flooring would be cool. However, when you use plywood, it comes in 4-foot by 8-foot sheets. So there's a little seam in between the two sheets. And so my solution was to use this aluminum flooring transition strip. And so I just went ahead and left a little space between the plywood. I drilled through the edges of the plywood with screws down into the subfloor, so the plywood is sturdy, it's locked into place, it ain't going nowhere, it doesn't flex, doesn't move. And so now I'm just slicing the tape on the gap in between the pieces of wood, and I'm putting a little power grab onto the back of this aluminum trim transition strip, and then just go ahead and drop the aluminum into place, and it should seat there no problem. So I think it's kind of a nice finished look. It's a little bit different, you know, but I like to try different things. You know, when I'm doing a box truck build, I like to try new stuff, try different stuff, just see how it works out. You know, some stuff works out great and looks awesome. Other stuff doesn't work out so well. So this is just one of those things that I think it's going to look good. And when the van's all finished and painted, you know, we'll take a final account and see how the floors look. But I'm pretty confident the birch with this aluminum trim is going to look pretty good. So stay tuned and let's see what the final product looks like. It's going to be a few months till I finish all the painting. But in the meantime, we got the transition strips down and we're just one step closer to having a finished box truck. Already, the transition strips look way better than the blue painter's tape, and I'm pretty excited about it. Now we're going to move on to the windows. Again, I didn't do a full video for the windows because it's a pretty straightforward process. I have a 36-inch by 22-inch RV exit window on the passenger side, and then moving around to the driver's side, I have a 30-inch by 22-inch window. Locked up in place, looks pretty good. They're factory tinted, so that kind of smoked out black look, that's how they come. But really all you have to do is you take the window, unwrap it, put a little strip of butyl rubber all around the edge of the window. And that's what I'm doing here. Then the window came with a template, so you just hold up the template, kind of use a couple tape measures. Nomad Dad was here helping me out, making sure we got it all level. So find the place you want to put it, and then you just grab the jigsaw and start cutting. And so I went ahead and just cut around the template. We traced from the template onto the metal, and then I'm cutting through the metal with the jigsaw here. And I noticed I ended up getting some aluminum shavings between the base of the jigsaw and the metal of the box, and so it was kind of scraping up the paint. So I went ahead and put this blue painter's tape around the perimeter once I noticed it was kind of scuffing up the metal. Anyway, once you cut the hole, you just pop out the plug, the old piece there, and then I went ahead and double backed and added some more sealant on the inside past the butyl rubber, just a double weather lock, and then you just pop the window into place, and then that's pretty much it. And then I did go back with some sealant and then just hit the very edges of the window with the sealant, and so far it's holding up pretty well. I'm happy with it. And then the last thing we did is we installed the gray tank. A lot of people were asking before if the air conditioner was going to get hit with dirt and mud from driving, but I was explaining that this gray tank, it's locking up right in front of the AC with the unistrut, and so that gray tank is going to provide a nice protection of the mini split, help keep dirt and mud off of it. And so there we go. Box truck is in business. We're ready to hit the road and head west to San Diego. The only thing I have to do before I can really leave is I got to install the freshwater tank and my water pump, which I'll do this next week here. And then I got to install part of my electrical system. And then after that, we'll be heading west on a big road trip to San Diego. And hopefully this box truck is ready for the task. We're going to find out together. Stay tuned and see how this trip west goes. Hopefully it's smooth sailing, and in no time short, we'll be on the sunny beaches of San Diego, California.